Texas is becoming a key battleground state for not only the Democrats, but the Republican Party in the 2026 midterm elections. This because we're seeing insane polling out in the state of Texas from even reliable pollsters in the past who are saying that this race for the United States Senate is close. In fact, Tallarico is leading in most polling, including polling by reliable sources. The race for governor, even closer. Greg Abbott only leading by about a percentage point on this new poll from Siena University. So these are significant, and this is going to really give you a clearer picture on who might win both of these races, and then also down ballot races, including Attorney General, where Middleton is only up 2 points to Johnson, and Lieutenant Governor, where Goodwin is only up 2 points to Patrick, the Democrat, is up 2 points in the Lieutenant Governor's race. So these are significant. And if this holds, this would be a huge blowout for Democrats in the 2026 midterms in the state of Texas, where Democrats have the opportunity to not only win one, not only win two, but win 4 races statewide, winning a Senate seat, a governor's race, a lieutenant governor's race, and an attorney general's race all in the same year. And if that happens, that would be very important for the Democrats going into the 2028 presidential race and other 2028 races as well, including the House of Representatives, the United States Senate, some important governor's races happening in 2027 and 2028. And of course, if Texas is going blue, what other states might be going blue as well? That's just the question that we have to ask. Well, it's important to look at these poll numbers, but it's also important to take them with a grain of salt. But I want to start by looking at them. I mean, of course, I mentioned Tallarico up 4 points in this new Siena University poll, with Tallarico at 47%, Paxton at 43%. We've had some other polling conducted as well, a YouGov Blue poll, Tallarico +3, Wedgwood polls, Tallarico +2, so on and so forth. We go over to the governor's race, a little bit of a different conversation. Abbott only leading that Siena University poll by a percentage point, but when we look at the Wedgwood poll, we're looking at Abbott +6, reaching 50% in that poll. So important to take note of this, and important on these notes, because Greg Abbott certainly is the more favorable Republican amongst him and that of Ken Paxton in the 2026 midterms. No doubt. If anyone's going to win a race across the state of Texas, it's likely going to be Greg Abbott versus Ken Paxton, who I'd argue is not that strong of a candidate across the state, and ultimately is going to hurt the chances of Republicans not only winning races like the governor's race, not only winning lieutenant governor and attorney general, but also down ballot House races as well, where Republicans may actually lose seats that they thought before they might win. So important to take a look at this, and important to take it with a grain of salt, like I said already. But if we take a look at where the Republicans, or where the Democrats stand in this, in the race for Senate, for the first time on VoteHub's average, if you've been paying attention to my channel at any length of time, we've talked about this race, but I've told you that this race on VoteHub has never been in the Democratic column until today. That changed today. James Tallarico officially the favorite to win this race. Now, by a very narrow margin, might I add. James Tallarico, 50.6% chance. So that leaves Ken Paxton with a 49.6% chance, or 49.4% chance of winning this race. So no huge margin here. Ken Paxton wasn't leading by a huge margin. James Tallarico is not leading by a huge margin, and that's not surprising, right? But it is important to note that VoteHub has officially changed this trajectory to be a Democratic seat in a way that these races are flipping out right now. Of course, you take Michigan into account, some speculation on whether that's a closer race than what VoteHub's arguing at this moment. But if you don't take that into consideration, if you say Michigan's going to the Democrats and you count the rest of the races, including Texas, including Alaska, including Ohio, North Carolina, Maine, Democrats are on track to not only flip the Senate, but actually flip it and win 52 Senate races across the state of across the nation. My apologies. But of course, I'm skeptical. Like I've said already, polling does not win elections, people do. And it's ultimately going to be who turns out for these elections in November. But at this moment, James Talarico, a clear favorite to win in that Senate race across the state of Texas, winning by, at this moment, on average, 0.2 percentage points. So, very important. The race for governor is slightly different, though. Greg Abbott actually has an 85.6% chance, despite these new polling numbers out. But it's important nonetheless. Democrats have an opportunity here to perhaps flip the race over a course period of time. But right now, Greg Abbott leading by 10.2 percentage points on average. And that's why I said take these polls with a grain of salt. I don't actually think that Democrats are that close to winning the governor's race as they are the Senate race. But if this trajectory continues, they may be closer than a lot of us think they are to winning races statewide, including the governor's race, including the lieutenant governor's race, including the attorney general's race, and including some key House races that are going to make an impact on the nationwide ballot coming in the 2026 midterms, on who will control the House of Representatives, who controls the Senate, who's going to be in the governor's mansion in Texas. A lot of important questions that we don't have the answers to, and we won't have the answers to until November. But the data is pointing towards one thing, and that's that Democrats are performing really strong, especially against Ken Paxton, a flawed candidate across the state of Texas, in new polling. And in new polling even saying that perhaps Greg Abbott is closer than we think to being defeated. But again, take it with a grain of salt. To close out the video, I want to take a look at some of the polling conducted in the race for Senate across the state of Texas. Now, I want to point out an important fact. That is the fact that since the last poll conducted that had Ken Paxton leading was June 21st, 2026. Before that, June 5th through the 12th, June 3rd through the 4th, and then before that, we had some tied polls. And then we had a poll with James Talarico leading. But since June 21st, 2026, almost 2 months ago, we have not seen Ken Paxton lead this race. He's been tied in the race, that back with New York Times, from June 19th through the 27th. But even since then, he's not even led in a poll. If you look back, A2 Insights, June 23rd through the 28th, 2-point margin for that of James Talarico. Ever since then, 5 points, 3 points, 2 points, 6 points, so on and so forth. James Talarico continuously leading across the state of Texas in polling. And important because if this holds, James Talarico may in fact be on track to win a Senate race across the state of Texas. Now, that sounds kind of shocking, right? I mean, Donald Trump won this race by 13.7% in the last presidential election. If you go to the Senate side of things, Ted Cruz won it by 8.5 percentage points, an arguably flawed candidate in Ted Cruz. But this race isn't like 2024. It's going to be more like 2018 than 2024, and arguably could be even more favorable than 2018 if you argue that Ted Cruz is a worse candidate than Ken Paxton. And in that race, in 2018, Ted Cruz only won by 2.6%, despite all polling saying the race wasn't even close. So, with that all said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys believe that this polling is accurate? Do you believe that James Talarico is in fact on track to be the next senator from Texas? What do you think about the governor's race, the attorney general's race, the lieutenant governor's race? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I love reading through those and replying to you guys, even with differences in opinion and all of that. I love getting your thoughts and seeing where you guys stand on different races. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.